Well, the Volvo XC40 is definitely one of the most popular small SUVs in the Volvo's lineup. And this is a 2023 model year. Volvo refreshed it slightly. There's some very subtle changes on this vehicle in front and on the sides. I'm going to talk all about them in this video today. So I found this at Volvo Cars of Fort Myers, Florida. So big shout out and thank you to those guys for letting me film it for you. And that's what we're going to do, take you on a complete tour of this vehicle from the exterior, interior, test drive, engine, the whole 9 yards. Well, if this is the first time that we meet, my name is Matt, and here on Matt the Car Guy, I post 2 car reviews every single week. So if you enjoy watching videos like this, go ahead and check out the rest of my channel. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, I really appreciate it. Now let's get back to this. All right, guys, so let's get this confusion cleared up a little bit. When I first started looking at the Volvo's website, I got like, what in the world? It completely changed the way that they are naming these models. So the XC40, for example, this particular one is a 2023 XC40 B4 front-wheel drive Plus with the chrome theme of it. Well, let's decipher it together. So first of all, the XC40 obviously is the Volvo. B4 refers to the engine size. So this is a 2.0 liter turbocharged engine. They also have the B5, which is turbocharged and supercharged, adds about 50 horsepower. And the B5 is the only engine choice that is available with the all-wheel drive. If you get the B4, you're only getting a front-wheel drive. Now, the Plus, it's one of the 3 different trim levels available on the XC40. So they have the Core, Plus, and Ultimate, and each of them has different equipment that is available for it, Core being the base one, and then moving on to the Ultimate as the highest end trim level. And then the bright theme refers to the exterior styling, basically. So what you have on the bright theme is a lot of chrome. So like you see, this is a bright theme. You have a lot of chrome surrounding. You have that in the grille as well as around the windows. And then you have the lighter crossbars or roof rails on top of here. And then the dark theme would be like more of what the R design used to be, pretty much everything blacked out, more sporty design. So let's take a look at the front end of this vehicle. Really, the sheet metal hasn't changed at all. It still has this pretty nice long hood. It does have this raise in the middle, and what's changed is the headlight design. Still have a T-hammer headlights, but the inside of it is a little bit different. You have the LED fog lights right at the bottom here, and with the bright theme you have this chrome grille. You have the front view camera, big Volvo logo right here. The front fascia changed slightly from 2022, and this is basically like this matte black color. So let's pop the hood and let's see what this B4 engine is. I love the way that Volvo does their hoods. It's really nice and tall, supported by 2 hood struts. And what we have in here is the base engine. So they call it the B4. And this is a 4-cylinder, 2.0 liter turbocharged engine, 194 horsepower, 221 pound-feet of torque. Made it to an 8-speed Geartronic automatic transmission, delivering the powers in the case of B4 engine only to the front wheels. Now, it is also equipped with the 48-volt mild hybrid system that produces about 13 horsepower. Designation B for battery, basically. So they switched that from T to B for 2023 model year. Now, there's also available B5 engine option, which adds a supercharger, about 50 horsepower more than this one, and it also is available with all-wheel drive. So we're going to take it for a spin at the end of this video, see how that drives. The side view remains unchanged for 2023 model year, but if it's not broken, don't fix it. It still looks pretty nice, stylish, small sport utility. It's nice and square. That's the way I like them. Guys, if you look at the wheel and tire setup, normally the Plus will come with the 18-inch rims, but this has been upgraded to 20-inch rims. They call it the diamond cut wheels, and you can see there are two colors. You have this graphite and the polished aluminum. 245/45 is the size of the tires, and it's equipped with the Pirelli P0, so more of the performance looking tires. You have the black cladding all around the vehicle, and it breaks it up really nice. And if you were wondering what color is this, they call it a crystal white metallic, and that's a $695 options. What else do we have? First of all, the way that you can tell the bright theme apart is that it has the chrome surroundings of the windows and the lighter roof rails on top. And as far as the mirror, you have the color coordinated mirror top. It does have the turn signals. It does have the side view camera underneath it. Smart entry system. All you have to do is put your hand inside of it without pressing any of the buttons. As long as the key is somewhere on you, it is on all four doors. See, I can lock it from here as well. Now let's check out the back of it. The back of it looks pretty sporty, actually. Now we do have this extended gate spoiler, and on top of it, this one is equipped with this optional spoiler that sticks out from underneath here. So you do have a third brake light over here, fully LED light setup over here. And then if you scroll down, you have the additional set of lights that are actually not only reflector lights, they actually illuminate as well. And the bottom portion off here, this is all the same colors, the cladding around the vehicle. So this matte black with a polished aluminum trim underneath here. No exposed exhaust anywhere on this vehicle. As you can see, it does have the sensor for your gate, which I incidentally opened it without really meaning to do that, but that's how the gate opens. So it does have the power gate on here, and of course it does have the rear view camera over there that I didn't mention. But let's check out the roominess of it. Let's take a look at the rear cargo space over here, and that does have quite a bit of that. It's probably 3 feet, if not more, over here of total roominess as far as the length of it. Underneath here, you have an additional storage space, and if you needed a spare tire, that hides underneath that second floor down there. Pretty nice, nothing else in here. There's illumination on both sides, and then there's a 12-volt outlet. And you of course have the cargo cover that can be removed, and if you needed more room, you can actually fold down the seats. Now you have to do it from the inside, but that is going to be a 60-40 split, and it's going to give you more room. Now you also have this pass-through right here, and you need to have the seat folded down or the armrest folded up. There you go. If you wanted to have some skis or something longer, you can actually put it through here. As far as the roominess in the back, it is pretty tight. I mean, it is a small SUV, so there's not a huge expectations as far as the roominess. I'm almost touching the backs of the seats with my knees. I'm 6 feet tall. Headroom I have plenty of. I have probably about 2.5–3 inches of headroom above my head, and I feel comfortable as far as the shoulder room. But 2 people will sit in fairly comfortably. No way, 3 will. Let's check it out together. To the door panel right here, and this is an interesting part over here. I really like this door panel. The insert of it is what makes it very, very unique. If you look really close, it's made out of this material that I was told it's all recycling plastic, so it's all the environmental aspect of this vehicle. Now this is all nice and soft right here, and then you have your door handle, you have your window and lock controls. Door handle over here, and then you have your speaker cover, speaker at the bottom of the door. We're going to talk about the stereo in the front, and let's get inside. But before we do that, there's a little storage area right here. I'm not sure what that's for, kind of awkward. Instead of having the seat all the way up here, Volvo decided to actually limit this. It kind of limits the roominess to the side of this vehicle, but not too bad. And one other thing that I want to point out too, if you have big feet, okay, size 12, sometimes it's hard to clear that, but once it's underneath in this footwell, this is pretty cool and comfortable. So what we have here is we have the leather trimmed seats, really nice. Okay, they're light color, this very light beige color, look really cool on this vehicle. some stitching, exposed stitching. I wouldn't say contrast stitching because it's really light as well. And then the floor, the surroundings of it, it's all in this black color. It actually works really nice together. You have the vents right in the middle console, and then you have the 2 USB-C ports at the bottom. You also have this big bump because they're available in the 2 or all-wheel drive. You get the B5 engine option, and in the back of the seats you have the netting for an additional cargo storage. And of course, let's listen to the door closing. Boom, nice and solid thump. Okay, and the front door panel looks just like the rear one. The two differences: first of all, it says Harman Kardon on the stereo speaker, so you know what kind of stereo Volvo is using on this particular one. And it does have this nice wood trim incorporated inside of here. Really nice. This is nicely padded. Of course, you have 2 memory seat settings. You have the window mirror lock controls in the same material insert you see as in the back. Really cool looking, plus huge storage space right in the door itself. Now if you go inside, you look at the Volvo written right on the door sill, and then you have the power controls on the seats. The seats are not super sporty, but they're nicely contoured and made out of the same, of course, leather as we've seen in the back. And then one other thing that I want to mention, it does have this storage compartment, I guess, but I'm not sure what you would want to put in here. Now the phone will probably fall out, or it would be awkward to be here. Now the same kind of material as you see surrounding here is on the door panels, except in a different color. Let's see what else we have. Let's take a look at the interior of this 2023 XC40. There's been some changes that I'm going to point out in just a little bit, but overall the look of the interior hasn't changed. Very nice. This is all soft plastic. You have this wood trim over here, again soft plastic right underneath here, and then you have your glove box underneath there. Nice big vents, as you can see. They are vertical vents, so big and really powerful too. Now I have the AC blowing, and then this is the 9-inch screen. You have the 12-inch display for the instrument cluster. As far as the steering wheel, it's nice to the touch. It's leather wrapped. It's got a bunch of buttons on both sides. Now on the left hand side you have basically your cruise control setup, so that controls your cruise control main button, and then you have the adjustments for the dynamic cruise control, so you can basically adjust the distance between you and the car in front of you. Volvo logo on the right hand side. You have the voice control, you have the pages button, and then basically select up and down type of deal. So if you look at the instrument cluster over here, so what do we have right now? Left hand side you have the speedometer, right hand side you have a tachometer as well as the gear indicator, and on top you have the seat belt indicator. You have the temperature outside. By the way, I want to point out it says 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and we are in December, so it's not getting any cooler here in Florida. So what do we have here is this trip computer, and you can switch that up to nothing, or you can make it a navigation. So it's a pretty cool deal that you can see the navigation, the map in front of you without taking your eyes off the road. Now no head-up display on this particular one, and you have this 9-inch vertical screen, and this is where the difference is. Now Volvo's been upgrading all of their fleet to the Google-based infotainment system, and this is what we have here. So as you can see, I have it opened on the map, but your main screen is gonna look like this. So here you have your maps, you have your Sirius XM stereo, connect your phone, which by the way, you do have the integration with both Apple CarPlay and Android Auto now, so I can pair the new device, which I'm not going to do. Maps, of course, is self-explanatory, but for the Google users or Android users, this is going to look very familiar. You can basically search by categories over here, and what I like about this too, it's going to give you distance, and it's going to give you pricing if the gas station is actually listing prices. So $3.12 for gas at the racetrack, which is 7 minutes away, so you can sort it by that if you'd like to. You also have the restaurants, and because it is Google based, it also pulls up the reviews of the restaurant. And me being on the road a lot of times, you know, I live by those reviews. So, you know, I'll look at 4.6, 4.4, 4.7 different types of restaurants. These are good deals for me. Of course, different categories. You have shopping and coffee, or you can search by voice. You can search, by typing it in, however you want to do it. But I like that this map takes up the entire screen. Other than the map, what else we have? Here's your main screen over here. So you have maps. Then you have basically where the media is coming from, so what's playing. You can connect your phone, and you do have the integration with both Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Play the news, that's Google News. I guess you need the subscription for that. And then you can set up your own profile or log out. Right now it's in basically a demo mode. Now, if you want to have a little bit more options, you can go through here, and then you can have Bluetooth media player, radio, Sirius XM, Google Play, books, Spotify, different types of apps that you can download over here. And here's your Play Store. So if you set it up, you can basically have it like on your Android phone. And like I said, it does have the Apple CarPlay. Well, I don't have the Apple phone, but you gotta make sure that the USB cable is connected properly. So basically it is wired connection, but you do have it. I know there was a lot of concerns, people not being able to hook up their Apple phones when they first released the Google-based infotainment system. So down here is, you basically have your menu for the climate control. So you have your main climate control. You can have max front windshield defroster, rear window defogger. We're going to turn that off right now. Recirculating button, auto, different zones that you want to turn on or off. Really nice, very intuitive. And then of course these are your speeds for the fans, and then you can adjust your temperature. You can unsync them if you'd like to, so the passenger and driver can have different temperatures. So it is the dual zone climate control. And then you have some options over here. So these are your settings: driving assist, driving dynamics, drive modes. The only thing that I can see is the off-road mode. So again, they got rid of some of the other modes that were available for you, and now you have just the regular mode and the off-road mode. And all of the other controls, connectivity, sound, profiles, privacy, Google system, all of that can be adjusted in here. Different languages. Oh my goodness, look how many languages it has. Pretty much everything. So you can actually check that out and change it to the language of your choice. Different keyboard setting. Basically like playing with your phone or an Android tablet. Software update, you can do it over the air if you'd like to. Now what else we have? Connectivity, Bluetooth connection, no paired devices right now. A lot of toggle switches over here, you can turn on and off. Display, trip information, instrument panel, non-auto manual lights. Interior light sensitivity, we have it set up at high, but you can set it up for low or off if you'd like to. Set up the interior brightness. I don't see any ambient lighting inside of here. So this is your infotainment system. It is pretty functional. I also like this vertical screen. Then scrolling down in here, you have some shortcut buttons. This is again for your front windshield defogger, defroster, and then this is for your media. That's where you put your memory card. One other thing that I didn't tell you, that it does have heated seats on both driver and passenger side. No ventilated seats in this particular one. And down below you have the wireless charging right over here for your phone, and you have the USB-C, two of the USB-C ports, and the 12-volt power adapter. You also have the crystal shifter, and they updated this a little bit, so in order to go in reverse, you no longer have to do it twice. You can do it once and it's going to go all in. So with that said, let's check it out, the rear view camera system. Again, I wish it took out the entire space, which the only way that it's going to do that if you're going to turn on the 360. And here's the locations of your cameras. Front camera, go back to the 360, you can see both sides, and the rear camera of course. And those are your settings. The camera is really nice quality. You do have the active trajectory lines if you look at the top view right here, which is really helpful, especially if you are in the parking structure and trying to back out so you don't really hit anything. So I'd give it a big plus for that. But again, I wish it would take out the entire screen if you do, let's say, just the rear view camera. So parking sensors, you can turn these on or off if you'd like to. Rear auto brake, you can turn that on or off. Now, I'd keep it on. This is a very useful feature. It basically brakes for you when it encounters an object, so it's very safety oriented. Then you have the cup holders. By the way, you put it in park by pressing the park button, and then you have two other buttons in here, one for the brake, parking brake, and this one is the auto hold. And then you have this little garbage bin right here, so if you want to put something in here, that, by the way, can be removed and emptied. And this is really what it is. This is a little garbage bin, which there's always a need for one in the car, right, Matt? Yep. And rubber lined storage compartment right underneath here, and that serves as the armrest. Now moving up over here, regular mirror. This is the auto dimming mirror with the HomeLink system. Then you have the LED lights, and you have this big panoramic sunroof, which is really nice, and a nice touch control on that. You can open it up, and there you go. We have so much more light that's inside this cabin. And if you look at the headliner over here, again, this is not your typical headliner. It's made for a little bit different kind of material that you see on the door inserts, but again, this is not just a regular plush headliner that you see on the vehicle. So overall, a really positive impressions on the way that this vehicle looks and the features of it. Let's see how it drives. Check this out, guys. The car is running. I'm ready to take it for a spin. I feel nice and comfortable in this fully air-conditioned cabin. I need to adjust my seats. But before we take it on the road, I want to talk to you about different trims and specs that are available for 2023. Like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, there's actually three different base trim levels that are available on the XC40, and that is the Core, Plus, and the Ultimate. So if you look at the Core, which is the base one, Volvo says that it actually starts at $37,645. Now, if you opt in for the Plus version that I'm sitting in right now, $4,400 will get you the panoramic sunroof, keyless entry, park assist, rear and front, and the Ultimate, total of $8,150 update. Gives you the Harman Kardon stereo, pilot assist, and 360 camera. And you might be saying, like, well, Matt, you know, you showed us all the 360 camera on the Harman Kardon stereo, and that is because this Plus model has been upgraded with certain features that you will find standard on the Ultimate. Now, of course, two different engine choices that are available on that B4, which is the one that I have here. That's the base one, and then the B5, which adds the supercharger and all-wheel drive. So B5 for $2,000 extra, I think it's a worthy upgrade if you need an all-wheel drive system. And then you can choose the light trim, which comes standard with the vehicle, or you can choose the dark theme that kind of gives you that more sporty, more art design look. So a lot of configurations. Now I gotta tell you, if you start playing around on this Volvo configuring, it can get pricey. This particular vehicle is over $47,000, and it starts just at $40,000, so it's got like $7,000 in upgrades, which I'm gonna list in the description of this video. Now I have the parking brake on. There you go. And let's check out of how it drives. Before we do that, as always, I'd like to check the turning diameter of this vehicle and see how tight it is. And from what I remember, it was pretty impressive. Let's do it one more time. Let's get over here. Let's turn the steering wheel all the way to the left, and let's see how tight it is. So we have 1, 2, 3, 3 3/4 as far as the parking spot. So definitely a tight turning radius. I like the visibility. You know, the squareness of this vehicle helps with the visibility. There's really very few blind spots, and the technology that you get with it definitely helps with that, if that was a concern. A nice handling vehicle. I just went over some speed bumps with those 20-inch rims. Wasn't bad at all. I was afraid that because of the not enough meat on those tires, not enough sidewall, that it's going to be really tough, but it wasn't. So we're going to take it on the road, and I'm going to try the acceleration, because that could be a concern for a lot of people, you know, especially looking at the 0 to 60. This one's rated maybe about 9 seconds, 9.2. Now you probably shave about 3 seconds if you go to the B5, so that would be another reason if you need something that's a little bit quicker, then opt in for that more powerful engine option. So let's check this out. Let's see how it feels. Actually, you know, this is not stop and go acceleration, but actually doesn't feel bad at all. It feels pretty quick, actually. So unless you want that power, really. I want to check out the B5 as well, maybe in a different trim level in a little bit, so we can have some comparison between the two. But overall, it feels nice. Pretty responsive to the acceleration, so not bad. An overall feel of this vehicle, like I said, great visibility. You can hear a little bit of that noise coming in from the tires, but I think it's just because of the size of them. But really no engine noise, not much of an engine noise, so that's good. By the way, if you really wanted the performance one, you should probably opt in for the Recharge, the fully electric one. That has, you know, the 0 to 60 about 4.7 seconds or something, so definitely a lot quicker. So if speed is your thing, you might want to consider that. And see how this vehicle accelerates. Let's go. Now you can hear the engine working, but we got it up to 50 and 60 right there. You know, it's not the fastest thing out there, but it's plenty quick for the regular everyday driving. And definitely a nice handling vehicle. It's easy to maneuver with, it's easy to operate. I'll definitely give it a thumbs up, even with this base engine, although I would like to check out the B5 with the all-wheel drive. I think it's a little bit different driving dynamics, and that 50 extra horsepower doesn't really hurt. You know, so if you're thinking about the gas mileage, you got 24 in the city and 32 on the expressway. A combined figure is 27, so it's not bad for a small sport utility. You know, it starts under 40 grand, but it's easy to, you know, get to 50 and even beyond that. So it could get pricey if you start putting those options on it. But it's definitely a solid competitor in the segment, which, by the way, what's the segment? So you have the Mercedes-Benz GLA and GLB, kind of the smallest of the two Mercedeses. Both of them start under 40, but then again, you can really easily upgrade it to the, you know, 45 and $50,000 range. And then the BMW is the X1. That's the competitor for it. I gotta tell you, this feels pretty solid. So if you're looking for a small sport utility, you know, don't skip it. Go to a dealership. If you're anywhere in Florida, check out the guys at Volvo Cars of Fort Myers, Florida. Really good group of people. They'll help you out with that. Take it for a test drive, see what you think. I think it's pretty good. Guys, if you like watching videos like this, do me a favor, check out the rest of my channel, consider subscribing, and if you learned something or liked something in this video, go ahead and give me that thumbs up. Really helps me out to fight that YouTube algorithm, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.